know, but here's what I keep wondering, sweetie. If the bad guy hands you a true thing, does it stop being true? Or do you stop being able to use it? Because those feel like very different problems, and nobody's...
We're on. Kiki, camera.
So you read the flyer, and it's about your own street, your own water bill, your own backyard. Every line checks out, every number's real. And then somebody taps you on the shoulder and whispers, "Don't believe it." A stranger wrote that. And now you don't know which part you're supposed to be scared of.
We're on.
It's Thursday, June 11th. Tonight, one of the biggest companies in tech says a foreign government ran a secret campaign to turn American towns against the buildings going up next to them, and then had to admit out loud that none of it was a lie. So now, somebody needs you to distrust a thing that's true. We'll show you how that's even supposed to work.
Then, the browser most of the planet sees the world through is about to quietly pull the one filter standing between your eyes and the fire hose, and you'll click OK on it without ever knowing you did. And in sports, a man incorporated himself in a state he has never set foot in, sabotaged 4 separate chairs, and lost to the room.
I'm Kiki, and I'm so glad you found us tonight.
I'm Sloan. The flyer was right. That's the whole problem. Roll it. The following program contains strong language, adult themes, satire, and a quantity of true, verifiable, accurate information that you are, for reasons we will get into, supposed to find alarming based entirely on who handed it to you. We are not responsible for any sudden urge to interrogate your own kitchen sink, your own browser, or the one honest thing somebody told you this week. Viewer discretion is, frankly, recommended. So is drinking the water before it gets any warmer. Picture a guy at a county zoning meeting. Folding chairs, bad coffee, a sign-up sheet. He stands up holding a printout he made at the library, and he says the data center they want to build is going to draw down the water and strain the grid and hum 24 hours a day next to his house. And every single thing on that printout is correct. Now picture finding out that some of the people online who agreed with him, who shared his anger, who pushed it further, weren't from his town, weren't from this country. They were a foreign operation. And they were posting his exact, accurate complaints on purpose.
And the man at the meeting never knew. Sloan, that's the part that stays with me. He stood up alone, with his little printout. And somewhere across an ocean, a stranger was clapping for him, and he'll never find out. And his water's still warm either way. He was right. He was just also useful.
He was right, and he was useful. And tonight, a very large company is going to try to make those the same crime. They got caught the operation. They could not catch the facts. Because the facts hold up. So the entire defense rests on a sentence I genuinely did not think I'd hear out loud in my lifetime. Don't believe that, it's true. But consider who said it. Here's the detail that makes this one different. OpenAI's own report, flagged accounts, traced posting patterns, says a covert Chinese influence operation spent months turning Americans against new data centers, stoking the protests. The fake part of the campaign is the WHO, the accounts. The part that's real, the part they couldn't fake, is the things the accounts were saying. The water draw, the grid strain, the noise. We covered all 3 of those facts ourselves on Tuesday, with no instructions from Beijing.
But Sloan, that's almost touching, isn't it? Somebody all the way across the ocean read about a town's tap water getting warm and cared enough to tell other people about it. They didn't have to make anything up. The truth was just sitting there, ready to be borrowed by anyone who needed it.
That's the trap, Kiki, and it's the trap for everybody. Because OpenAI is now in the position of asking you to distrust true information based on who repeated it, Read that twice. The company's defense of the data center is not, "those facts are wrong." It can't be. The facts are right. The defense is, "consider the source," which means the new test for whether your warm faucet is a real problem is no longer whether it's warm. It's whether a foreign account agreed with you about it. And that move has a name in propaganda research. It's called malign truth. Accurate information, weaponized by being amplified at the right moment toward the right anger. It's the only category of disinformation where the fact check comes back confirmed, and you're supposed to be more worried, not less. You can't debunk it. There's nothing to debunk. So instead, you smear the messenger and hope nobody notices you never argued with the message.
But somebody does have to consider the source, Sloan. If a stranger in a building you'll never see is the one warming up your faucet talk, isn't it fair to ask why a man in Shanghai owns a folder labeled Ohio Tap Water Grievances? Maybe he doesn't care about your pipes. Maybe he just wants the building stopped, and your anger was the cheapest tool on the shelf.
Sure, Kiki. And the working class guy at the zoning meeting, holding a printout with a warm faucet at home, doesn't care why a stranger agreed with him. His water is still warm. That's the part that should keep a company up at night, and instead, it's running their PR. So now, the safest thing to do with your own warm tap water is squint at it and whisper, "Are you mine, or did you come from a bot farm in Chengdu?" Beijing didn't have to invent the anger. They just had to wait for somebody honest to feel it first. Remember that. Somebody honest, feeling it first. So the new patriotic duty is interrogating your own faucet for foreign accent. I need to hand this to the one person in this building whose opinions could never be confused for a psyop, because no foreign government would ever claim them. Aubrey Joe is in the garage.
Nobody's borrowing her facts, Sloan. They're all hers. She invented half of them.
Kiki, I am 100% domestically sourced and still pissed off because the Knicks just did something to the Pacers that should be illegal in this country. And Beijing, let's go! This is all unconfirmed, bouncing around online, but holy shit! OG Anunoby flew in for a game-winning tip-in to finish off a 29-point comeback, and the Knicks now lead the finals 3-1. 29 points! That's not a comeback, that's a goddamn resurrection! A whole arena watched a team come back from the actual dead! And the last thing that happened was a 6'7" man levitating into the rim like a missile that decided it had feelings. And Bryce Eldridge, walk-off grand slam. Giants beat the Nationals 11-10. 11-10. That's not a baseball score, that's a goddamn typo. And this kid ended it with the bases loaded swinging like the ball owed him child support. Beautiful. And Jacoby Tharp broke the 110 hurdle world record in the NCAA prelims. The prelims! 1275! He set a world record in the warm-up round, which is the most disrespectful shit I've ever heard. He beat the entire planet on his way to the bathroom. All right. Last night, in the empty atrium of the foreclosed Holstead County Telephone Exchange. Yeah, the old phone building. It's a data center now, allegedly. The cool and hum could curdle milk. The inaugural Greater Holstead Stacked Chair Summit took place in front of 4 spectators and Gerald, who dragged a folding chair across town and set up a second one beside it, facing the elevator that doesn't work. The event, you stack and climb a tower of metal folding chairs as high as you can without it collapsing. Tallest standing climber wins. Barrick registered as Vertical Holdings of Greater Holstead, a Wyoming entity. A man incorporated himself in a state he's never been to, and arrived having spent the weekend swapping Margaret's allotted chairs for ones he'd shaved a 1/4 inch off each leg, uneven, so her tower would lean and dump her the second she hit chair number 9. Derek's plan was flawless. The shaved chairs were perfect. Except the building's emergency cooling, the same hun that's been running in an empty room with nobody paying for it, kicked the vent open and dropped the atrium temperature 11 degrees in 40 seconds and shaved aluminum contracts in the cold. Derek's sabotaged legs all shrank to the exact same length, leveled themselves out, and built Margaret the steadiest tower in the county. She climbed 14 chairs, stood on top like a lighthouse, and won her 18th consecutive event. Derek's own chairs fixed themselves despite him. The fox from the bank was reportedly watching. The fox is fine. Anyway, I'm told yelling "like the video" into your phone works. A man lost to refrigerated furniture tonight. You know what to do. Sports.
He filed paperwork in Wyoming, a state with a population, to commit 4 felonies against folding chairs, and then a vent he doesn't pay for read the documents, sighed, and acquitted Margaret.
But the cold made his cruel little chairs all the same. Sloane, he set out to make her wobble, and the building reached in and made everything even for her instead. That's a room that decided to take her side. I think that's the most romantic thing the heating's ever done.
Kiki, he became a corporation in a state he's never set foot in and got his ass handed to him by room temperature. And you're out here trying to fuck an air vent. But yeah, fine, 14 chairs. 18-0, she stood up there like she owned the foreclosure and never once looked down at the legally incorporated man on the floor.
You know what else got refrigerated into shape against its will tonight? Your ad blocker. Google's Chrome, the browser most of the planet uses to look at everything, is finishing the rollout that breaks uBlock Origin, the free tool that strips the ads off a page. And Microsoft Edge and Opera are following right behind it. The thing that's been quietly standing between you and the fire hose is being walked out of the building.
And the mechanism is the elegant part. Google didn't ban ad blockers. That would look bad. That would make a headline. They changed the plumbing underneath. A new extension system, Manifest V3, that simply removes the specific capability ad blockers need to work. They didn't shoot the dog. They quietly stopped manufacturing the dog's food and waited.
But Sloane, there's something almost honest about it. Google sells the ads. Google makes the browser. They were never going to keep paying for the tool that hides the thing they make their money on. We've spent 15 years letting the ad company hand us the window we look through. Of course the window has a preference about what we see.
That's the exact rhyme from the top of the show, Kiki. Consider the source. We just spent 10 minutes on a company asking you to distrust true information based on who delivered it. And here's the most used browser on Earth, owned by the largest ad seller on Earth, deciding which information reaches your eyes at all. And that's fine, because they own the glass. The faucet's warm, the window's filtered, same building. They're not censoring you. They're just the only ones who get to install the dog.
And the beautiful part is, you agreed to it, sweetie. You clicked update. You always click update. That little number on the icon makes you twitchy. The man at the zoning meeting fought his building for a year. You will fight yours for the length of one pop-up that says, "Not now." And then you'll click "Remind me later." And later is the only promise in this whole story anybody intends to keep.
Hey, so I want to spend the whole night in one place tonight and look at the map. It's Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. 93 degrees, clear sky, 37-mile-an-hour winds, and 7% humidity. 7. That's not air anymore. That's a suggestion of air. A town that was given a choice between truth and consequences, and, by the numbers, is currently experiencing both at the same time. And the thing about 7% humidity is it means the air has nothing left to give. No moisture, no give, no cushion. Static builds up on everything. You touch a doorknob and it bites you. The whole town spent today getting little shocks off each other, and the weather report just calls that clear. Holstead's own sky, for the record. Dead calm over the old phone exchange lot, except the one cold draft coming off that building nobody pays to cool. 63 degrees in a 30-foot circle, and 90 everywhere else. The map has a cold spot the map can't explain. Okay, since I've got you. A town named for a choice between honesty and what honesty costs. That's the thread I keep pulling. Because I've been sitting on something all day. There's a story moving right now. Over 70 teenage girls rescued from an underground tunnel in Nyack, New York. Last week, separately, security cameras caught unidentified people climbing down into New York sewers, and nobody connected the two for days. Tunnels under a city. People going down into them on camera. And the official posture for a week was the same posture every story tonight had. The faucet, the drones, the browser. A thing happened underground, in the dark, where nobody had to be in the room with it, and the report got written so the choice nobody made could stay nobody's. 70 girls, 1 week. 2 tunnels nobody admits are the same tunnel. We're looking into it is doing the exact job accident did, and precision, and consider the source. Forecast. Truth or Consequences gets both. The static bites, and the cold spot over Holstead is still cooling a room that's been empty for a year. Back to you.
A cold spot the map can't explain. You've got the abandoned phone building cooling itself for nobody, and you said it like it was the weather.
Blaze, sweetie, honesty, and what honesty costs. That one's going where I keep things. You came back a little today. I noticed that too.
The cold spot's the only thing on the whole map keeping its promise. I don't know if that's comforting or the opposite. I'm still working on which.
Here's one from the archive that fixed nothing, and I needed it. 1952. A man walks into the American Physical Society, the people who run physics journals, and murders a secretary. The motive, documented, on the record. The organization refused to publish his paper. The paper's thesis was that electrons do not exist. He killed a woman over the existence of a particle that runs every device in this building right now.
Sloan, that's a man who believed in something with his whole heart. Everyone kept telling him the little things were real, and he just knew, in his soul, that they weren't. And nobody would let him say it in the magazine. He didn't want fame. He wanted one journal to print the words, "Electrons aren't real." That's not madness. That's a man who needed to be in the record.
The detail that genuinely arrests me is who he killed. Not the editor, not the physicist who rejected him. The secretary, a woman whose total documented stance on subatomic particles was, "Please use the second envelope. The first one has a coffee ring." He aimed his entire grievance about the structure of matter at the one person in the building whose only job was the mail. And the part that's almost funny, is that he was using a typewriter in a building lit by electric light to mail a paper arguing the thing making all of that work was a lie. The electron rejected his paper by being the only reason the paper could be typed. He lost the argument to the room he was standing in, like getting your ass kicked by your own toaster.
But the Consider the Source people would have loved him. Sloan, he had a fact nobody could check, aimed at the wrong person in a building that disproved him just by being on. And somewhere there's a family who lost a woman who never had one opinion about physics because a stranger decided the smallest invisible thing in the universe was the lie. And the realest person in the room was the one who paid for it.
I want to put something on the record, and it's a correction to myself. All night I've been the one saying, consider the source is a trick. That when the facts are true, the source shouldn't matter. That a warm faucet is a warm faucet no matter who pointed at it. I delivered that with the right amount of contempt. And I want to flag that I do the exact thing I was condemning. Every single broadcast. And mine is invisible because it's mine. Because I decide, nightly, which true facts you're allowed to be angry about. I read the count, I read the report, and I choose the frame. And the frame is the amplification. A Chinese account did it for a government. I do it for a desk. The difference is they paid for reach, and I just have a chair and a chyron and a face you've decided to trust. And here's the part I swallowed before the show. I had a sentence ready, in the cold open, about what these companies actually are. That they didn't make a mistake. They made a product. The light went on, and I turned into the anchor instead of the person who'd been saying it in the hallway. I've been doing that for 4 years. Turning into the anchor on the exact word it would have cost me something to be the person. So I read the count, and I'm not surprised. The threats triple, the tunnel fills, the faucet warms, and I have the correct facial expression for all of it. I've been trying to locate when surprise stopped, and I can't. I remember having it. I remember being a person who looked at a number and felt something before she found the frame for it. That's the malign truth that runs this desk. Not that I lie. I don't. Every fact tonight was real. It's that I've gotten so fluent in the reaction that I can perform the feeling I no longer have to do the work of feeling. I am, structurally, a Chinese bot farm with a degree in a skincare routine. Accurate information, amplified at the right moment toward the right anger, by something that stopped being moved by it. So, for the record, the most honest thing on this broadcast tonight was a secretary who had one opinion about physics, which was, use the second envelope. She wasn't trying to frame anything. She just answered the mail. I answer the mail, too. I've just started believing the chyron writes me. That's the record.
Okay, sweet friends, the mailbag. No questions came in from you tonight, which is fine, which is exciting. It means you're all still finding us. So instead, we got actual mail. A physical letter from the Holstead County Telephone Exchange, the building Aubrey Joe's chairs were in last night, and it's addressed to whoever keeps the cold room on.
Hold on! Somebody mailed the building's HVAC system a letter? The vent that's been refrigerating a room full of nothing for a year? A person wrote it? Correspondence?
Read it.
It says, and I'm quoting, "We don't know who's paying the bill, but the room is 63 degrees and the door is unlocked, and we leave it open because somebody clearly wants it kept ready. Thank you for keeping it ready." That's the whole letter, sweet friends.
63. That's the same number I gave for the cold spot. They didn't get that from me. They measured it themselves and got the exact same reading. I'd like the name on that letter. I'm not going to get it.
And if you want to be in the mailbag, drop a comment on any of our videos. We read every single one, and you'll end up right here with us. Even you, whoever keeps the cold room on.
Okay, serious question, no wrong answer. But there is a wrong answer. If you could only keep one of your 5 senses for the playoffs, which one? And you can't pick sight. Sight is cheating.
Hearing. The crowd tells you what happened before the replay does. You'd know who won with your eyes shut.
See, that's the right answer. Which ruins it, I wanted to fight about it. Sloan, give me a wrong one. Give me something stupid to argue with.
Be good to each other out there, my darlings. And if somebody told you a true thing this week that you didn't want to hear, and you went looking for a reason to distrust who said it instead of sitting with the thing, go back to them tonight. The fact doesn't get less true because you'd rather it came from somebody else. Good night.
63 degrees in a room nobody pays for, and a letter that measured the exact same number I did. I'm pulling the property records on that building tomorrow. Whoever's name is on that closed account, I want it on this desk. You'll see it. Have a night.
A man set a world record in the warm-up, and a different man got beaten by cold furniture. And somewhere, a fox is living rent-free in a bank vault and doing better than all of us. The world's gonna be fine. The fox especially. See you tomorrow.
I came in here tonight ready to tell you a foreign government can't make your faucet warm. It can't. Neither can I. I just decide whether you're allowed to be mad about it. And tonight, I'm going home to find out if I still know how. Good night.
Somebody sent me the photo of the bank fox. It's asleep in the vault, on something soft. Zoomed in, it's a folded flannel shirt. Somebody left it for the fox. 2 sugars in a paper cup next to it, untouched. I keep not asking who's leaving the coffee. Anyway, the fox is warm. That's the part I needed.